This is In the Chair at CTBC with Chloe Allison. I started doing makeup when I was really young. I was probably like 12, 13, watching YouTube videos, doing makeup. That kind of spiraled into learning how to play with my hair and do stuff with my hair. And I don't think I'd necessarily do makeup as a career, but I think hairstyling has kind of become an art form for me as well. The reason I chose this school was because my best friend went here about 3 years ago, and she talked about how great the instructors were and how she felt like this gave her a well-rounded education versus the other people that she's seen fresh out of beauty school. And so when I went and looked around, I was like, okay, keeping that in mind, of course. It wasn't like the deciding factor, but the more I looked around, the more I realized how much better this place seemed than other places, just because of the education that you are provided here. I want to know the most I can at all times. So even when I know very little about a topic, I ask why. Like, why do certain things and other things don't? And I feel like here people have a really good understanding and are able to answer those why questions. My favorite part of the cosmetology education, I guess you could say, like, learning-wise, I really liked learning about the chemical components of everything that we do. I'm a big science nerd, so that was amazing. And I like that you can have those conversations with instructors and with your peers, because it's so important to know the basics of everything before you can go in and start touching. The basics set you up for everything that's out here. So when they're talking about like the oxidation of color, they want you to know that that color is going to oxidize, and the moment it starts oxidizing is the moment it starts working. So once you've got it, you can't just like let it sit. When we're doing all of the background work and the foundational work, it sets you up really good for being out here. Without it, it would be kind of like a fish out of water. One of the main challenges I had was I had a woman when I was in phase 3 talk about me on her phone as she was texting somebody else. And it was heartbreaking because, you know, I was like, oh, I'm doing good. And I looked down and she's saying nasty things about me. And I was like, oh, okay. And like that really hurt my feelings because I felt we had some mutual understanding with each other. And so I set my tools down and I walked away and I lost it. But I got to my instructors. I told them what was happening. One of them went with me to help calm me down, and the other one went and finished the service for me, so that I didn't have to go back and face her. However, if I could go back and change that, oh, I would have finished that service. I would have kept my cool. I felt so disappointed in myself after I did that, just because, you know, I'm strong. There's no failure, but if I could go back, I would have finished the service. I think working with clients at school helped me understand that, you know, not everything's going to be easy out in the real world. You know, just because I feel like I'm starting out here, you don't know anything out here. You get thrown to your first client and you're terrified. I had an anxiety attack with my first client, and it was a detangle. It was nothing crazy. But, you know, you get that feeling of, oh, I don't know what I'm doing out here. You know, I know my basics. I know what I can do. I can go out there and I can be like, yes, I can give you a haircut. Yes, I can do that. And I feel like I now have skills to talk to people that I didn't have before. I've always been a people person. I've worked customer service jobs before. However, it's different. You're giving your whole energy to somebody and they're giving you their energy back for hours on end. And it can be very draining at times, but you have to deal with that, and you have to be able to understand that it's okay to be tired, it's okay to do that, but it's also okay to turn around and do your work. But when you get stuck and you don't know what to do next, they teach us, say, I'll be right back, I'm gonna go speak to my instructor. And then you go and you speak to your instructor and you ask them the questions. And sometimes they'll follow you if you feel like you need a visual representation of what you need to do. And other times they can just tell you what you need to do. And so instead of being there like, oh, what's the next step? They're just like, so this is how you proceed. And then you can do this. If you still need help, you can come back and talk to me. Or you can come and grab me and I'll come help. Or I'll come and check on you in a few minutes. One thing that I think CTBC does really well, they do a lot of state board testing stuff. You know, it's very scary. A lot of people go in after starting cosmetology school to their state board exams and they fail it the first time to even know what's going on. And then they go back in and then they take it again and then they pass. But with CTBC every Monday we do a state board testing. and it's just mock. You do everything. They walk you through it. A lot of the time they break it down into 2 days. So it's like on one Monday they'll do the first half, and on the second Monday they do the second half. But it's not something a lot of schools offer, I feel like. And if they do offer it, they do it once or twice and then they send you out. But at CTBC, they drill it into you. They're like, you can't look at anybody else. You have to sit there and you have to look at your own work, stand, make sure that you're doing everything properly. You know, and they make sure that you're set up well for the thing that's going to make you a cosmetologist. You know, the state board testing is the most important thing. You know, you want to know how to do everything. However, school isn't going to teach you everything. A lot of the stuff that you learn is going to be out in the real world where, you know, you're hands-on. You can only learn so much in 1,000 hours. They teach you how to pass so that you can go and then you can succeed in your personal and professional life. I'm really excited by the salon life and the salon culture. I one day want to own my own salon, but right now I'm working with a great group of people at the salon that I'm currently at, and it's amazing. I love all the hands-on work that I'm doing. The one thing that I would tell the current students coming into the school now is that you have to come to school. You have to be here. You know, especially in phase 1, you know, if you miss a day, you're missing a ton of information. And then later on, I know people who have been here for about a year and they're like wanting to be done, they're wanting to leave, they're feeling burnt out because they haven't been coming to school and they're tired and they want to go home, and I get it. But once you finish school, it's going to be so great. I'm so excited. The one thing that makes me want to keep learning is that this career path is ever changing. You know, there's never going to be a time where you feel like you're going to know everything because of the trends, people's preferences, all of those things are going to create this learning opportunity for you. And the one great thing is, you know, there are hair shows and things like that where you can go and you can take classes. There's specialty salons where you can learn how to do specialty services. And, you know, continuing to learn is the main part of being a cosmetologist. You can't just sit there and become comfortable. This is In the Chair at CTBC with Chloe Allison.